You know, in the cult classic thriller Miracle Mile, the entire world ends in just over an hour. But for two characters, there's a silence that's lasted way longer than that, 15 years to be exact. And today, we're going to finally solve the mystery of that silence.
I mean, really think about that. After 15 years of total, absolute silence, what could possibly make them start talking again? We're talking about a husband and wife living in the very same building who haven't said a single word to each other. What in the world could be big enough to break that kind of grudge? Well, let's dive in.
So, for anyone who hasn't seen it, Miracle Mile is just wow. It's a masterclass in what you'd call tonal whiplash. It literally starts out like a super sweet, kind of sappy 80s rom-com, and then bam! A single wrong number phone call warns of an imminent nuclear attack, and the whole thing just plunges into this terrifying, real-time nightmare of chaos in LA.
But the mystery we're digging into today isn't really about the main couple. Nope. It's about this fascinating pair you see in the background, our main character Julie's estranged grandparents, Ivan and Lucy. They are absolutely the heart of this silent subplot.
And this is where it gets kind of wild. I mean, look at this. You've got Ivan, the grandfather, and Lucy, the grandmother. They live in the exact same apartment complex. We're talking maybe just a few feet apart. And yet, not a single word has passed between them in 15 years. The level of stubbornness is just off the charts.
15 years. Just let that sink in for a second. A decade and a half. That's not just an argument anymore, right? That's a deep, deep-seated silence. It's a conflict so old it's basically just become a fact of their lives, like the sun rising in the east. Okay, so to get to the bottom of this, let's put on our detective hats. First things first, let's look at the hard evidence. What does the movie actually show us? What clues can we find right there on screen?
All right, so here's what we know for sure from the film. The official cause? Just an argument. We see the tension. Oh yeah, you can cut it with a knife when Lucy just physically turns and walks away from Ivan. We know that the catalyst, the thing that finally gets them talking, is, well, the end of the world. And maybe most profoundly, their final choice is to skip the only helicopter out of there just to have one last breakfast together.
So, you see, we know the what and the how, but the film very deliberately leaves out the most important part, the why. The actual reason for that fight from 15 years ago, it's a total blank space. The movie never tells us.
And that brings us to a really cool idea in storytelling, right? What if the mystery is actually better than the solution? What if not knowing is more powerful than getting a clear-cut answer? See, by keeping it vague, the movie makes their fight something we can all relate to. It becomes universal. We don't get stuck on the tiny details of he said this or she did that. Instead, we can all kind of project our own experiences with stubborn family feuds onto them. And that makes their final reunion, oh man, it just hits so much harder.
But here's the thing. There is an answer. And this is the big reveal, folks. The secret to their 15-year silence isn't actually in the story you see on screen. Nope. It's hidden in the movie's production history. The answer is in the script.
Okay, get this. In one of the early drafts of the script, it was the main character, Harry, who had this backstory. He hadn't seen an ex-girlfriend for, yep, you guessed it, 15 years. When they rewrote the script, they just kind of lifted that plot point and recycled it for Ivan and Lucy. So the 15 years wasn't about their specific fight. Their fight was created to fit that convenient 15-year time frame.
And that tells you a lot about the filmmaker's priorities, right? For them, the real focus was the huge, overarching threat of the Cold War and the main love story between Harry and Julie. The effect of the grandparents getting back together was the important part, not the nitty-gritty details of why they broke up in the first place. So now that we know where that 15-year number came from, we can really appreciate what their story does for the movie thematically. Especially when you put them side by side with our main couple and see how these two pairs react so differently to the apocalypse. And wow, the contrast is just so stark. On one hand, you've got Harry and Julie. Their love is brand new, it's just starting, and it fuels this frantic, desperate scramble to survive. It's a classic romantic tragedy. But then you have Ivan and Lucy. Their love is old, it's been tested, and now it's reconciled. And for them, it leads to this quiet, almost serene acceptance. It's a peaceful ending to a long story.
I mean, think about it. They already wasted 15 years being apart. They are not going to waste their last hour on Earth running around in a panic. They accept their fate, and they choose to face it side by side. For them,
Peace isn't found in the helicopter, it's found in just being together one last time.
And that's what makes their subplot so brilliant. It adds this really profound layer to the whole movie's message. It's saying, yeah, the instinct to physically survive is powerful, it's human, but maybe, just maybe, true strength is found in emotional resolution, in forgiveness, in connection, and finding peace at the end.
And that's the question the movie leaves you with, isn't it? When you're staring down the absolute end of everything, what does real strength even look like? Is it that frantic, desperate fight to resist fate at all costs? Or is it the quiet dignity of accepting it and choosing to spend your final moments at peace with the one you love?